I'm Hermes, servant of the immortals. I have come here where Apollo sits at Earth's mid-center, gives his prophecies to men, and makes pronouncement of what is happening now and what will come. For in the famous city of the Greeks, called after Athena of the golden spear, Apollo compelled Euripides' daughter Creusa to accept his violent embrace at that site below Athena's hill, whose northern scarp the Attic lords have named the Long Rocks. Her father, by the god's own wish, did not suspect, and so she carried the child in secret. And when the time had come, her son was born inside the palace. When she took the child to the same cave where she had lain with Apollo, she tied to him whatever girlish ornament she had before leaving him there to die. My brother Apollo made me this request. You know Athena's city well, he said. Will you journey to the earth-born people of glorious Athens? There, inside a cave, a newborn child is hidden. Take the child, his cradle, and his swaddling clothes, and bring them to my oracle at Delphi. Then set them near the shrine's door. Just so you know, the child is mine. I will arrange the rest. I did as Phoebus Apollo, my brother, wished. Took up the wicker cradle, brought it here, setting it on the temple steps, and then I opened up the basket so the child could be seen. Now, when the sun began to ride in heaven, a priestess was just entering the oracular shrine. Her eyes were drawn toward the helpless child, astonished that a girl of Delphi should dare to cast her secret child before Apollo's temple. She would have had taken it outside the sacred precinct, but her pity expelled the cruel impulse, and the god helped too to keep his son within his house. And so she took the child and reared him, not knowing who the mother was or that Apollo was his father, while the child has never known his parents. His childhood home has been about the altars where he played and ate his meals. But when he was fully grown, the Delphians appointed him their steward, the trusted guardian of Apollo's gold. And he has lived a holy life until this day here at the temple. Creusa, whose son he is, was married to Xuthus. This is how the marriage occurred. A war arose between Athens and Chalcedon's people in Euboea. Xuthus, as an ally, helped to end the strife. And though he was not a native, but an Achaean, the prize he won was marriage to Creusa. But in all these years, no children have been born. Desire for children is now bringing them here to Apollo's shrine. Though Apollo seems unaware, it's he who controls their fate and guides them here. When Xuthus comes before the shrine, the god will give him his own son, declaring Xuthus the father. Thus, the boy shall be received into his mother's house and made known to her. And while Apollo's love affair remains secret, his son will have what is his due. Moreover, Apollo will bestow on him the name of Ion, make that name renowned throughout Greece. As founder of cities in Asia, here now is Apollo's son. And I am the first among all the gods to call him by his future name of Ion.
Attendants of Apollo, go down to Castalia's silvery eddies. When you have bathed, return to the temple. Let your lips utter no words of ill omen. May your tongues be gracious and gentle to those who come to the oracle. I will brighten Apollo's portals, cleanse the floors with sprinklings of water, Since I have neither mother nor father, I revere the temple of Phoebus Apollo that has nursed me.
O healer, my blessing, O Leto's son.
I see Dionysus, the boisterous god, with unwarlike wand of ivy, is killing another of Earth's giant sons.
You, there, by the temple, may we with pale feet pass into this sanctuary?
You may not, stranger.
Well, perhaps you would tell me.
Tell me, what do you want?
Is it true that Apollo's temple really contains the world's center?
Yes, wreathed in garlands, flanked by gorgons.
This is the story we have heard.
If you've offered sacrificial cake in front of the temple and you have a question for Apollo to answer, come to the altar steps. Do not pass into the inner shrine unless you have slaughtered a sheep.
I understand. We are not for transgressing Apollo's laws. The outside charms us enough.
Look where you please at what is lawful.
Our masters have allowed us to overlook this sanctuary of Apollo.
In whose house do you serve?
The dwelling place of Athena is the house to our masters. But the person you speak about is here.
Whoever you may be, you are noble. Your looks reveal your character. By looks, nobility is often judged. But you surprise me. Why, your eyes are closed, that noble face is wet with tears, and now, when you have seen Apollo's holy temple, what reason can there be you're so upset? Where others are glad to see the sanctuary, your eyes are filled with tears.
That you should be surprised about my tears is not ill-bred, but when I saw this temple, I measured an old memory again. My mind was elsewhere, although I'm standing here.
What can be the cause of this strange melancholy? But tell me who you are. Your family, your fatherland, your name.
Creusa is my name. From Erectheus I was born, and Athens is my land.
A famous city and a noble family. How fortunate you are.
Yes, fortunate in that, but nothing else.
There is a story told. Can it be true?
But tell me what it is you want to know.
Well, your father's ancestor sprang from the earth.
Yes, Erichthonius. But ancestry is no help.
Athena really took him from the earth.
Into her virgin arms, though she was not his mother.
And then she gave him to, as we see in paintings,
2 Cecrops' daughters to keep without looking at him.
I had heard they'd opened up the cradle.
And died for it. The rocks were stained with blood.
And the other story, is that true or not?
Which one is that?
Well, did your father sacrifice your sisters?
They were killed for Athens.
How is it you were saved?
I was a baby in my mother's arms.
And it's true your father was buried in a chasm.
Yes. The sea god's trident blows destroyed him.
Is there a place there which is called Long Rocks?
You stirred my memory.
Oh, why do you hate a place the god so loves?
No matter, but I know its secret shame.
And what Athenian became your husband?
Oh, my husband is no citizen of Athens.
Who then? He must have been of noble birth.
Zeuthus, the son of Aeolus and Zeus.
A foreigner. How could he marry an Athenian?
A neighboring land of Athens is Euboea.
Which has a sea for boundary, they say.
Athens conquered it with the help of Zeuthus.
And do you come alone or with your husband?
With him.
To see it or consult the oracle?
To ask the same as he will ask of Apollo.
Is it about your country's crops or children?
Though married long ago, we have no children.
No children? You've never had a child?
And who are you? Your mother must be happy.
I am what I am called, Apollo's slave.
A city's votive gift or sold by someone?
I only know that I am called Apollos.
You live inside the temple or at home?
Apollo's house is mine, wherever I sleep.
But what gave nurture to you as you grew up?
The altars and visitors who came.
Yes,
Why did you come here?
I need a secret prophecy from Apollo.
Oh, just tell me. All the rest I'll do for you.
Oh, but I am ashamed.
Then you'll get nothing done. Shame's unassertive.
I have a friend who says she lay with Apollo.
If it was a god who was her lover.
She put from out the house the child she bore.
Where's the child? Is he still alive?
I have come to ask, for no one knows.
If he is dead, how then did he die?
Killed by wild beasts is what she thinks.
And how long is it since the child was done for?
He still lived. He would have been your age.
Apollo is unjust.
She has never had another child.
Suppose Apollo decided to rear him up in secret.
To keep that pleasure for himself is wrong.
This misfortune echoes my own grief.
And some unhappy mother misses you?
Do not revive the grief I had forgotten.
I'm sorry. But you'll do as I request.
Do you know where that request is faulty?
What is not faulty for that wretched woman?
Will Apollo tell the secret he wants to hide?
Yes, if his oracles are open to all Greeks.
No one will speak on your behalf. Convicted of evil inside his own temple, Apollo quite justly would take vengeance on the one who told you. Speak no more of it. The benefits we gain by force against the god's will is of no use. Now, we only profit by what they give us of their own free will.
Humans are many, and their woes are many, the forms of woe diverse. One lifetime of happiness is seldom to be found in humankind.
Oh, Apollo, then and now I'm just to her, the absent woman whose complaints are here. I can see my noble husband, Zeuthus, arriving. Quite near. I beg you, stranger, tell him nothing of what we have been saying. Trouble is very easy when women deal with men. And since good women are mixed with bad ones, all of us are hated. To this misfortune, we women all are born.
My greetings, first of all, is to the god, and then to you, my wife.
What oracle did Trophonius give about our hopes of having children?
He was unwilling to anticipate Apollo's answer, but he has told me this, that neither you nor I shall go from here without a child.
Oh, holy mother of Apollo, may our journey here end well. Our dealings with your son have a happier outcome than before.
So it will be. But who speaks here for Apollo?
Sir, that is my duty here outside the temple.
Creusa, will you go round the fires, praying to the god that I may bring promise of children from Apollo's house?
If Apollo at last amends his former wrongs, although he'll never be a friend to me, I will accept, because he is a god.
Why does this stranger always speak in riddles? Reproach the god with covert blasphemy? Is it their love on her on whose behalf she comes before the oracle, or does she hide a secret which she cannot tell? I must confront Apollo with his wrongs. To force a girl against her will and then abandon her, to leave behind a child to die that was born in secret. No, do not act thus. Since you have the power, seek the virtuous path. All evil men are punished by the gods. How then can it be just for you gods to stand convicted of breaking laws you yourselves have laid down for men? And if, here I suppose what could not be, if you gave account on earth for the wrongs which you have done for women, you, Apollo and Poseidon, and Zeus who rules in heaven, payment of your penalties would see your temples empty. Since you are unjust to others in pursuit of your own pleasures without any forethought.
Oh, my Athena, born without birth pains. Come, I entreat you here to the Pythian temple, where at Earth's center, Apollo's shrine proclaims unfailing prophecy.
Forever gleams bright the flame and strength of youth, a promise to the house of growth. There one has a fund of joy overflowing. The fathers, the children will gather hereditary wealth and then in turn pass it on to their own.
They are a defense in adversity, in happiness a delight, and in war their country's shield of safety. For myself, I would choose, rather than wealth or a palace of kings, to rear and love my own children. Shame to him who prefers a childless life, hateful to me. May I cling to the life of modest possessions, enriched by children.
Our legends, our tales of the loom never tell of good fortune, of one born of a god and a mortal.
Tell me, has Euthus already left the oracle, or does he still remain within, waiting for an answer to his childlessness?
He is still inside. He has not passed this threshold yet. But the noise the door has made shows someone is now there. Look, it is my master coming out to us.
Oh, son! Oh, my blessing! Oh, it is right to greet you in this way.
Sir, my thanks. We are both well.
Oh, let me kiss your hand. Allow me to embrace you.
Are you sane, or have the gods made you mad somehow?
Mad? Now that I've found my only love and want to touch him?
But mad and boorish strangers are no pleasure to instruct.
Kill me and then burn me, for you'll have killed your father.
You, my father. This is fool's talk. How can that be?
Yes, the story I have to tell will make all plain.
What have you to say?
I am your father. You are my son.
Who has told you this?
Apollo, he who reared my son.
You are your own witness.
Yes, I know what the oracle said.
You mistook a riddle.
Then my hearing must have failed.
And what is Apollo's prophecy?
That he whom I met would be my son.
Your own son, or just a votive gift?
Well, a gift, but my own son.
I was then the first you met.
Yes, no one else. My son. Apollo, not I, has the answer.
Let us try another tack.
Yes, that will help us more.
Did you have an affair outside of marriage?
Yes, in the folly of youth.
Before you were married?
Yes, but never afterward.
Then that could be my origin.
Oh, the time at least agrees.
What am I doing here?
I cannot tell you that.
You're so far away.
That is my puzzle too.
Have you been before to Delphi?
To the wine god's torch feast.
You stayed with a temple steward.
There were girls of Delphi.
He introduced you to their rites?
Oh, yes. Dionysus Maenads.
You had drunk much?
I was reveling in the wine god's feast.
Oh, then that was the time.
Yes. The goddess and destiny has found it out.
What am I doing here?
Oh, the girl perhaps exposed the child.
I am not a slave then.
And now, accept your father.
We surely must believe the gods.
Makes good sense.
How could I ask for better?
Well, now you see things rightly.
Than descent from Zeus' son.
That is indeed your birthright.
We also share this house's happiness. Yet I could wish my mistress too might have the joy of children.
My son, Apollo rightly prophesied that I should find you and united us. Let me persuade you to come home with me to Athens, where your father's prosperous power awaits you, and great wealth. You shall not have the name of bastard and of beggar, but of highborn and well endowed with wealth.
I bless my fortune now that I have found a father, but Father, listen to what is on my mind. The earth-born citizens of glorious Athens are said to be no immigrant race. I would intrude there marked by two defects, a foreigner's son and myself a bastard. So if I remain obscure, with this disgrace, they will account me nothing, nobody's son. But if I aspire to the city's helm, ambitious for a name, then I shall be hated by the powerless. Superiority is always hated. The praise of royalty itself is false, a fair facade to hide the pain within. What happiness or blessing has the man who looks all around for violence and fear draws out his days? I would prefer to live a happy citizen than be a king who must choose to have the evil as his friends and must abhor the good for fear of death. But Father, listen to the good points of my life here in Delphi. Leisure, first of all, most dear to any man. The friendly people, no one to thrust me rudely from my path. I have been busy with prayers to God or talk with men, dealing with the happy, not the discontented. I have been receiving or sending them off again. A fresh face, always smiling on fresh faces. Let me live here. Delight in magnificence is not better than being content with little.
Learn to enjoy success. Let us inaugurate our life together by holding here where I have found my son a public banquet and make the sacrifices omitted at your birth. I will bring you with me to Athens as a guest and hold for you a feast, and then bring you with me as a visitor, not as my son. Your name shall be Ion, a name that fits your destiny. You were the first I found as I came to Apollo's shrine. But now, gather your friends together and make feast and sacrifice before you leave this town of Delphi. And you, slave women, say nothing of our plans. To tell my wife anything will mean your death.
Unless I find my mother, my life is worthless. If I may do so, I pray my mother is Athenian.
I see tears and mourning triumphant, the beginning of sorrows where the queen hears of the son, the blessing bestowed on her husband alone.
He is falling to gray age. He does not honor his love. A stranger he came, wretched, to the house and betrays the fortune bestowed. He wronged her. Die then.
Oh, the ridge of the rocks of Parnassus, which hold in the skies the watchtower where Dionysus holds the two-flamed torch, leaping lightly with his nighttime wandering Minos.
Let the boy never see my city. Let him die first. Leave his new life. A city in trouble has reason to welcome the coming of strangers.
Old man, my father, Euripides, while he was alive, already had you as his tutor. Come up with me now to Phoebus' oracle, to share my happiness, if this prophecy give hope of children, since it is a joy to share success with those we love.
My daughter, you preserve a noble spirit and equal to your noble ancestors. The shrine is steep. Support me in my weak old age.
Lean on your cane as the path winds around.
The cane is blind too when my eyes are weak.
Women, faithful servants of my loom and shuttle, What hope of children did my husband receive before he left? We came for that. Tell me, and if the news is good, you will not find your mistress faithless or ungrateful.
What can we do when death is set before us?
What strain is this? What? Why should you be afraid?
Are we to speak or not? What shall we do?
Speak! You know of some misfortune coming.
You shall be told then, even if I die twice over. You will never have a child to hold in your arms or take one to your breast.
Oh, this pain put upon me. I cannot endure it, my friends.
If you alone have this misfortune, or my mistress too must share the same distress.
To him Apollo gave a son, but this good luck was his alone. His wife has nothing.
And to the oracle concern a living son, must some woman yet give birth to him?
Apollo gave him a son already born, a full-grown youth, and I myself was witness.
How can it be? No, an incredible thing. It is unspeakable.
Unspeakable indeed.
He gave your husband for a son, the one he would meet first when he came from the temple here.
Who then was destined for Xuthus to meet? And tell me how and where he saw his child.
There was a young boy who swept the temple here. You know him, lady. That one is the son.
Oh, I wish that I might fly through the moist air far away from Greek earth to the western stars.
What was the name his father gave him? You know it? Or does that remain uncertain?
He called him Ion, since he met him first. But who his mother is, that I cannot say. Xuthus, to tell you all I know, old man, has gone away, unbeknownst to her, his wife, to offer in the consecrated tent a birthday sacrifice, to pledge the bond of friendship in a feast with his new son.
My lady, we have been betrayed. I share in your grief by your very husband. We are insulted by design, cast from Rectius' house. I say this not because I hate him, but rather because I love you more than him. The foreigner who arrived and married you was welcomed to the city and your house, received your heritage, and now is proved the father of children by another woman, secretly. How secretly, I will explain to you. Aware that you yourself would have no children, he scorned to suffer equally with you in his mischance, and had a secret child by some slave woman, and then sent him away for someone here in Delphi to rear. The boy was dedicated to Apollo's temple, and there grew in concealment. Then the father, now knowing that the boy was grown, pressed you to travel here because you had no child.
I hate all evil men who plot injustice and then trick it out with subterfuge. I would prefer as a friend a good person, ignorant, than one more clever who is evil too.
Worst shame of all, that he should bring into your house a cipher, motherless, the child of some slave woman. For the shame at least would have been single, if with your consent, because you could not bear a child yourself, he had an heir by one eye born. If this had been too much, he should have been content to marry an Aeolian. And so now you must act a woman's part. Kill him, your husband and his son, by sword, by poison, or some trick, before death comes to you from them. A slave bears only this disgrace. The name, in every other way, an honest slave is equal to the free.
I too, dear mistress, want to share your fate, to die with you, or else to live with honor.
My heart, I'll be silent. Yet how can I speak of that secret love? strip myself of all shame. I will no longer be silent. I will no longer conceal that rape. When I have put away the burden, then my heart will be easier. Tears fall from my eyes, and my spirit is sick, evilly plotted against by men and gods. I will expose them, ungrateful betrayers of women's beds. Oh, you who give the seven-toned lyre a voice which rings out of the lifeless rustic horn, the lovely sound of the muses' hymns. On you, Leto's son, here in daylight, I will lay blame. You are an evil lover. Though you owed no favor to my husband, you have set a son in his house. Delos hates you, and the young laurel which grows by the palm with its delicate leaves where Leto bore you, a holy child, fruit of youth.
Oh, what a store of miseries is now disclosed! Who would not weep at hearing them?
Watch your face. I'm filled with pity, and my reason is distracted. But just when I banished from my heart one wave of trouble, a second one rose at the stern, caused by the words you spoke about your present woes. Before you trod the evil path of other sorrows, what do you say? What is your accusation against Apollo?
I will tell you, although I feel ashamed.
Yes, I know how to deal with friends in trouble.
You know the northern cave, which lies above the hill of Cecrops, called Long Rocks?
I know. Pan's altars and his shrine are near.
It was there that I endured a fearful trial.
Yes, my tears well up to meet your words.
Apollo became my lover, against my will.
Could that have been a thing I noticed?
What was it? Speak out, and I'll tell the truth.
How did you hide this union with Apollo?
I had a child. Please, hear my story out.
But where? Who helped you? Or were you alone?
Alone, in that cave where I met Apollo.
Where is the child? I mean, you need not be childless.
He was left for beasts to prey upon.
Dead? Then Apollo was false. Gave you no help?
He did not help. The child grows up in Hades.
How could you leave your child there in the cave?
How? But with many tender words of pity.
Ah, you were harsh. Apollo harsher still.
If you'd seen the child stretch out his hands to me.
To find your breast or to lie there in your arms?
Yes, to find what I was cruelly refusing.
But why did you decide to expose your child?
Because I hoped the god would save his own.
What a storm embroils your house's fortunes. I see your father and yourself so stricken.
Such is the life of mortals. All things change.
My child, let us no longer cling to tears.
What can I do? For pain has no resource.
Avenge yourself on the god who wronged you first.
How can a mortal fight immortal power?
Burn down Apollo's sacred oracle.
I am afraid. I have enough of sorrow.
And do what's in your power. Kill your husband.
He was once loyal, and I honor that.
And kill the son who's come to menace you.
But how? If only I might. I would do that.
By putting weapons in your attendant's hands. The secret tent where he is feasting friends.
You know Euripides. Of course, you must.
Founder of your house. The son of earth.
To him, as a newborn child.
Yes. What is it you hesitate to say?
2 drops from the blood of the Gorgon.
And what is their effect on human beings?
The one is poisonous. The other cures disease.
But how did she attach them to the child?
By golden chains, which he gave to my father.
And then When he had died, he came to you?
Yes, I always wear it on my wrist. It fosters life and keeps away disease.
What action does the other of them have?
It kills. A poison from the Gorgon snake.
You tear them apart or mix together?
Apart. For good and evil do not mingle.
You have all that you need.
By this the boy shall die, and you shall kill him.
How? Tell me. It shall be done.
In Athens, when he comes into my house.
I distrust this plan as you did mine.
Why? Can we both have seen the same weak point?
They will accuse you innocent or guilty.
True. They say stepmothers are always jealous.
So kill him here and then deny the crime.
You know then what you are to do? Here, take this golden bracelet from my hand, Athena's first gift. Go where my husband holds his feast in secret. When they end the meal, begin to pour the gods' libation, then drop this under the cover of your robe into the young man's cup.
Now go to your host's house, and I will do the task that I have been assigned to do. It's right that the fortunate should honor piety, but when we wish to harm our enemies, there is no law which can get in our way.
Demeter's daughter, guarding the roadway, ruling what moves through these paths of the night and the daytime. Oh, guide the filling of the death-heavy cup to whom the queen sends it, with the brew of the blood drops from the Gorgon's severed throat to him who lifts his presumptuous arm against the house of Erechtheus.
My mistress is planning a death. And if it should fail, the occasion of action go past, now her sole anchor of hope, she will sharpen a sword or fasten a noose to her neck, ending sorrow by sorrows, passed down to a different life.
Oh, the shame to many hymns, Dionysus, if by the springs of Calicary Apollo's wandering boy shall behold, unsleeping, keeping the watch, torches burning on the festival night, with the moon and the 50 Nereids who dance in the depths of the sea in perennial river springs, honoring the gold-crowned maid and her mother, holy Demeter, there where he hopes to rule, usurping what others have wrought.
All you poets who raise your unjust strains, singing the unsanctioned, unholy loves of women, see how much we surpass in virtue the unrighteous race of men.
Lady, can you tell me where I may find Euripides' noble daughter? I have searched the city everywhere.
What is it? Why are you hurrying? What is the message you have brought?
They're after us. The Delphians are looking for her to stone her to death.
What do you mean? Have they discovered then the secret plot we made to kill the boy?
Correct. And you will not be the last to suffer.
How was this scheme unknown to them discovered?
The god refused to be defiled and so discovered how justice may defeat injustice.
How?
Carusa's husband came out from the shrine of Apollo, and then he took his newfound son away to join the feast in sacrifice. When they had done with eating, an old man came in and stood among the guests and threw them into laughter with his officious antics. He poured out water from jars to wash their hands, or burned the ooze of myrrh, and put himself in charge of golden drinking cups. And when the reed pipes joined in together with the mixing bowl, which all had now to drink, he said, "Enough of these small cups. We must have large. The company will then be all the sooner in good spirits." And now they busied themselves with passing gold and silver cups, but he, as though he meant to honor his new master, offered him a special cup full of wine in which he had dropped a fatal poison, which they say our mistress had given to eliminate this new son. And no one saw. But when, like all the rest, Ion held his cup, one of the slaves let fall some phrase of evil omen. Ion had been reared among good prophets in the temple and knew the sign and ordered them to fill another. The first libation of the gold he emptied on the ground and told the rest to pour as he had done. A silence followed as we filled the sacred bowls with bibline wine and water. While this was being done, there came in that tent a riotous flight of doves. They haunt Apollo's shrine and have no fear. To slake their thirst, they dipped their beaks into the wine the guest had poured and drew it down their well-plumed throats, and all but one were not harmed by the golden libations. But one had perched where Ion had poured his wine and tasted it. At once her feathered body shook and quivered me in the like. She screamed strange cries of anguish. The guests all watched, amazed to see her struggles. She died in her own convulsions, her pink claws and legs gone limp. The sun, the gods foretold, then stretched his uncloaked arms across the table and cried, "Who planned my death? Tell me, old man, since you were so officious, you handed me the drink." He held the old man by the arm and searched him instantly so that he might convict him in the act. His guilt was proved, and he revealed, compelled against his will, Carusa's plotting with the poisoned drink. The youth bestowed by Apollo collected the guests and went from the tent without delay and took his stand before the Delphian nobles. "O rulers of the sacred city," he said, "a foreign woman, daughter of Euripides, has tried to poison me. The lords of Delphi by many votes decided that my mistress be put to death, thrown from the rock for planning the murders of a sacred person there inside the temple. Now all the city's looking for her, whom misery has advanced on this unhappy path. Desire for children caused her visit here to Phoebus. But now her life is lost, and with her life all hopes of children."
They're in pursuit, my friends! They want to kill me! By the judgment of the Pythian vote, my life is forfeit!
Yes, we know in what distress you are, unhappy woman.
Where can I find refuge then? For I have evaded them by a trick, just left the house in time to save my life.
Where but at the altar?
What advantage will that give me?
God defends the suppliant.
Yes, but the law condemns me.
They must seize you first.
And here my bitter adversaries come.
Sit on the altar now. For if you die sitting there, your killers will be made guilty of your blood. Your fate must be endured.
Luck favored me before I went to Athens to fall victim to a stepmother. For here, among my friends, I learned to measure your mind, your menace, and your enmity. But if I had been trapped inside your house, you would have sent me utterly to death. The altars will not save you, nor will Apollo's house, for greater pity is reserved for me and for my mother. For even if in body she is not here, her name is not absent. You see her treachery, how she can twist one scheme upon another. She has fled to cower at the god's own altar, hoping thus to avoid her penalty for crime.
I warned you not to kill me. And I speak not only for myself, but for the God who guards this place.
What can you have in common with the gods?
My body is his to save, a sacred charge.
You tried to poison me, and I was his.
No longer his, for you had found your father.
I belonged to Apollo till my father came.
But then no more. Now I belong to him.
Yes, but I had the piety you lack.
I tried to kill the enemy of my house.
I did not march upon your land with arms.
Why, yes, you did. And you tried to burn Euripides' house.
What fiery flame? What torches did I carry?
You hoped to force possession of my home.
My father's gift, the land he gained himself.
How can Aeolians share Athenian land?
Because he saved it, not with words, but arms.
The ally need not own the land he held.
You planned my death through fear of my intentions.
Save my life if you stopped just intended.
Childless yourself, you were envious of my father's child.
So, you will snatch those homes without an heir.
Have I no right to share my father's land?
A shield and spear, these are your sole possessions.
Come! Leave the shrine and the altar of God.
Go! Find your mother and give her your advice.
And while your attempted murder goes unpunished,
You wish to kill me in the shrine.
what pleasure can the gods' reeds give to death?
I shall thus injure one who injured me.
Oh, this is monstrous. The laws of God for men are not well made. The unjust should not have the right of refuge at the altars, but be driven away.
For I, the prophetess of Apollo, chosen from all the Delphian women to keep the tripod's ancient law, have left the seat of prophecy to pass these bounds.
Dear mother, hail. Mother in all but birth.
Then let me be so called. It pleases me.
You heard how she had planned to murder me.
I heard, but your own cruelty is sinful.
Have I no right to kill a murderer?
Wives are unkind to children not their own.
As we can be to them if they mistreat us.
No, when you leave the temple to go into your country,
What must I do? What is your advice?
go into Athens pure and with good omens. Hear what I have to say.
Then speak. Your message could not be unfriendly.
A newborn child, I kept it secret. Now I can reveal it.
Why did you keep it from me all these years?
The God desired to keep you as his servant.
And now he does not wish it?
Revealing your father, he bids you go from here.
Why did you keep the cradle? Was that an order?
Apollo put the thought into my mind.
What thought? Tell me, I want to hear the end.
To keep what I had found until this time.
And does it bring me any help or harm?
The swaddling clothes you wore are kept inside.
These clues you bring will help to find my mother.
The God desires this now, though not before.
This is indeed a day of happy signs.
Now go, look for your mother.
Throughout all Asia, beyond the bounds of Europe.
And now, farewell. As for the search, begin it as you ought. Your mother might have been a Delphian girl who left you in the temple. Inquire here first, and then elsewhere in Greece. Now you have heard all that we have to say. Apollo, who had an interest in your fate.
Oh, how the tears well from my eyes whenever my mind goes back to the time when the woman who gave me birth, the child of secret love, disposed of me by stealth and kept me from her breast. Instead, unnamed, I had a life of service in Apollo's house. My fate was cruel, though the god was kind. I was deprived of my dear mother's love throughout the time I might have lived content and happy, held in her arms. My mother suffered too. She lost the joy a child could bring. And now I consign the cradle as a gift to God, to ward away any unpleasant news. If by some chance my mother were a slave, to find out would be worse than ignorance. Phoebus Apollo, to your shrine I dedicate it. It is against the god's will. He has preserved for me my mother's tokens. I must have the courage to open them. I cannot shun my fate.
But what is this I see? Beyond my hopes.
Silence! You were my enemy before.
This is no time for silence. Do not try to check me. I exposed you then. Oh, my own son. A newborn child where the long rocks hang over Cecrop's cave. I will desert this altar even if I have to die.
The god's madness has made her turn away from the altar's images.
Go on and kill me. I'll compete with her and you for what is hidden there inside.
Isn't this dreadful? To rob me with a trick.
No, you are found. A loved one for your loved one.
You love me and try a secret murder?
You are my son, what's most loved by his parents.
This cradle, has it anything inside?
It has the clothes you wore when I exposed you.
Can you give a description before you see them?
I can. And if I fail, may I die.
Then speak. Your audacity is strange indeed.
Look at weaving, which I did in childhood.
Describe them. Girls weave many kinds of things.
It is unfinished, a kind of trial piece.
And its design, you cannot cheat me there.
There is a gorgon in the center part.
Oh, Zeus, what is this fate that tracks me down?
The piece is fringed with serpents, like an aegis.
And here it is, found like an oracle.
The loom work of a girl, so long ago.
And anything else, or will your luck fail you now?
Serpents, all gold, our ancient race's custom.
Athena bid you raise your child in them?
Yes, in memory of Erichthonius.
And what do they do with this gold ornament?
It is a necklace for a newborn child.
Yes, here it is. I long to know what's third.
I put an olive wreath around you then. From the first tree Athena's rock brought forth. If that is there, it has not lost its green, but flourishes because the tree is holy.
Dear mother.
My child, you were born in tears, in sorrow torn from your mother.
Mother, my father should be here with me to share the happiness I bring you both.
You do not know your father.
A lowly birth. Mother, who was my father?
By the rocks where the nightingales sing. Apollo.
Why name Apollo?
Became my lover in secret.
Oh, speak on, for what you say will make me happy.
And when 9 months passed, I bore you, the unknown child of Apollo.
Oh, this is welcome news. If it is true.
And these were your swaddling clothes. In fear of my mother, I wrapped you in them. A careless work of a girl at her loom.
And here I attempted an impious murder.
Fate drove us hard in the past. Just now oppressed us again. There is no harbor of peace from the changing waves of joy and despair.
From what we have seen happen here, no one should think that anything is ever hopeless.
Fortune, you have transformed unnumbered lives to misery. And then again to joy. How near I was to killing my own mother. How near myself to undeserved disaster. Might you not, deceived as young girls are in affairs kept secret, be laying blame upon the god and saying, attempting to avoid the shame that I brought, that Apollo is my father, though in fact the one who fathered me was no god at all.
No! By Athena, goddess of victory, who in her chariot fought by Zeus's side against the giant race. My son, your father was not a mortal being, but a god, the very one who raised you, Lord Apollo.
Why does he say that Zeus is my father?
He does not. You are his son, a gift bestowed by him on Zeus, just as a man might give a friend his son to be his heir.
Does Apollo tell the truth? Or is the oracle falsehood? For some good reason, this question does not cease to trouble me.
Then listen. This is what I think, my son. It is for your own good that Apollo is placing you within a noble house. Acknowledged as his son, you would have lost all hope of heritage or father's name. What chance did you have when I concealed the truth and even planned your death in secret? And so, to help you, he is giving you another father.
No, my question cannot be so lightly answered. No, I will ask Apollo in his own temple if I am a son of his or born of a mortal.
I am no enemy to flee, but well disposed in Delphi as in Athens. I am Athena, whose name your city bears. I have come here in haste, sent by Apollo, who did not think it right to come himself before you, lest he should be banned in public for what has happened in the past. He sent me to give his message. This woman is your mother. Your father is Apollo, whom he gave you not because you were his son, but so that he could place you in a noble house. But when this plan he made was opened and laid bare, he was afraid your mother's scheme of murder would succeed, or she be killed by you, and he found the means of rescue. But for this, he would have kept the secret longer, and in Athens showed you Creusa as your mother, and himself the father of the child. But I must end my task and tell the purpose of my journey. Now hear Apollo's revelations. Creusa, go with your son to Cecrops' land, and then appoint him to the royal throne. For since he is descended from Euripides, he has the right to rule my land. And he shall be renowned throughout Greece. His sons, 4 branches from one stock, shall give their names to land and peoples, divided in their tribes who live about my rock. They shall live in the 2 broad plains of Asia and Europe, which lie on either side of the straits, becoming famous under this boy's name, Ionians. Moreover, you and Zeus are promised children. Apollo then has managed all things well. He made your labor easy so that your family would not know. And when the child was born and you exposed him in his swaddling clothes, he ordered Hermes to take him in his arms and bring him here, and would not let him die, but named him and reared him up. Now tell no one that Aeon is your son, and Zeus will be happy in his belief, and you may go away, Creusa, sure of your own blessings. Now farewell, you all. You are delivered of your present evils, and I confirm your future holds good fortune.
Athena, child of mighty Zeus, we have received what you say on trust, and I believe myself to be Apollo's and Creusa's son. And even previously, this was credible.
Listen to me. Although before I did not praise him, now I praise Apollo. For the son he had neglected is restored to me. And now this oracle, these doors, I look upon with joy, though before they were hateful to me. Happily, I cling to them and bid farewell.
I approve this change, this praise of him. The gods perhaps moved to action late, but in the end, they showed their strength.